How's it feel so far to be retired from football?
It feels good. I just wish I didn't have other stuff to do. Sometimes it's a little easier to stay where you're at.
Jacob Bell is a man in transition. He's living in a new home in Los Angeles. He's developed a new interest in vegetable gardening.
I think for me, I would love to do that. So and it'd be something I'd have to kind of learn.
Yeah, so start with a couple pots with some tomatoes and some herbs.
He even has a new body, having shed 50 pounds since he decided to leave the game of football. The 31-year-old Bell retired from the NFL in May after 8 seasons with the Titans and Rams. He says he had growing concerns about his long-term health, especially potential damage from concussions.
How hard a decision was it to walk away?
It's my life, it was my career, something I did for 20 years, and had a lot to be thankful for what it provided me with. So it was a huge decision, probably the toughest decision I've had to make.
What's it going to be like for you with football starting again?
Oh, it's going to be hard because I miss it.
After playing fullback at Clemson, Chad Deal signed as an undrafted free agent with the Baltimore Ravens in April. His NFL dreams were shattered when he retired after suffering his second concussion in 5 months.
How hard was it to end a career that was really just getting started?
It was hard because from Little League through high school, through college, your dream, what you're working for, all those practices, your main goal is to play in the NFL. It was tough to retire before that ever happened.
When Jacob Bell opted to retire, he had recently signed a 1-year deal with the Bengals. He says he felt healthy, but his future was weighing on him, given the violent nature of his sport and the position he played.
How prone is an offensive lineman to getting hit in the head?
It's every play, every single play. I mean, you're using your helmet, and they're building them better and better so you can hit harder and harder, but inside that, your brain is shifting that much more up against the side of your head.
How many concussions do you think you had while you were in the NFL?
As far as ones that are documented, I'm pretty sure I had 3 or 4.
In a 2009 preseason game against the New York Jets, Bell says he suffered his most serious concussion when he was struck helmet to helmet by linebacker Bart Scott.
The scariest part about that, when it was all said and done, I didn't remember any of it. I didn't remember going to New York. I didn't remember the game. And then gradually over like a month-long period, it all came back to me. The last small order of business, an idea for replacing a door.
In addition to his concussion concerns, Bell says money was a factor in his retirement. In 2011, the Rams paid him $3 million. This season with the Bengals, he would have earned $890,000.
If I go out there and blow my knee out, get 2 major concussions, and down the road I'm crippled or brain dead or something, was it worth what you were doing?
Not everyone agreed with Bell's assessment. He says his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, urged him to keep on playing.
He had my best interest in mind, but he also knew at the same time I had a lot more years left in me, and I could have had another big contract ahead of me, possibly.
What'd you tell him?
I had like 5 phone calls to convince him to let me retire. It took forever.
Here, you hold it. Throw it to Daddy. Good
job.
With a wife and 1-year-old daughter, Chad Deal recently started a job as a manager for a construction company in South Carolina.
Yeah, what he did is
Went through and circled the flat spots.
we shot the new survey.
Known for his bruising blocking while at Clemson, Deal says he has suffered 2 or 3 documented concussions and probably several more. He says the most serious one was at a Senior Bowl practice in January. 5 months later, at a mini camp for rookies trying to make the Ravens, Deal, an undrafted free agent, suffered another concussion.
I was having trouble memorizing the plays or lining up in the right spot.
said Friday, we still believe.
He then made the wrenching decision to retire at age 23, ending a pro career before it could possibly flourish.
How difficult was that?
You know, it's so tough because you see that contract, you're so close to, you know, making the team finally playing in the NFL. You see those numbers in front of you. You dream about, you know, what you can buy your wife, what you can buy your daughter.
How did your wife feel about things? What was she saying?
As far as being disappointed that, you know, I'm not a football player anymore, she could care less, and she cares that I'm healthy too.
Deal and Bell retired in May, within 2 weeks of the death of Junior Seau. While they say their own situations drove their decisions, both say they were disturbed by Seau's suicide.
I can't really say what exactly was going on with him because I don't think any of us really know. But you have to think that it somehow had to do with football. It had something to do with maybe the multiple brain traumas that he was incurring.
It was scary just because, you know, I knew where I stood with concussions and, you know, loving contact throughout my whole entire career.
Even with the increasing worries about concussions, it is uncertain for now if the forward-looking actions of these two players will prove to be aberrations or become part of a trend.
I talked to some guys that are concerned, other guys aren't concerned at all. A lot of us are so present-oriented that the future for us seems so far away. But I mean, it's cliche to say, but life is very short.
Since announcing your retirement, what kind of reactions have you gotten from other players?
You know, they all think that, you know, I'm making a smart decision and they agree that it's what's best for me and my family. Something good will come out of life, you know, even though it's not the NFL.